So guys, here we have it. Some of you wanted me to get Salman in the video because you wanted to know Salman's opinion. And guess what? Get ready for some fireworks because Salman's about to tear in, because Salman's never been a massive fan of Vasily Lomachenko. He's been saying to me, I've never rated the guy. He's a good fighter, but this is a guy that's been hyped up by a lot of boxing fans. Salman, you saw the fight last night. You watched it back.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
I think it was a lot closer than what people said it was. The scorecards were a bit off, like quite off, to be honest. I think one judge gave it completely a shutout. I don't agree with that, but it just goes to show that, Lomachenko's not this, such hard fighter to beat as we made out. He's lost to a really, novice in the sport, 22 years old. And, he should be really beating a fighter like Lopez with all the experience, amateur experience, etc. But it just goes to show that a lot of these other top fighters would probably beat Lomachenko. He's built a lot of hype. But to be honest, the guys he's fought, he hasn't really fought a young, hungry lion, apart from Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo literally showed that, this guy's beatable. Although I didn't think the fight was that wide. I didn't think Teofimo, I think it was a close fight, in my opinion. I think Teofimo won the fight, but I don't believe that it was like a complete blowout or a shutout to Teofimo. He didn't do anything in there. Neither fighter did anything in there where you could say, it was a complete blow. It was just, like Teofimo outclassed him. He probably won by a couple of rounds, maybe one round at most. I think, the first half of the fight, I think probably Teofimo won, and then obviously Lomachenko came back. It's probably 7-5 in my opinion, but to be honest, it just goes to show that, Lomachenko isn't this, he's lost twice now, but now there's no excuse for him losing this time. So it goes to show that even the first time, it was because that sort of style, isn't good for him. Someone that's going to put it on him and, not be fazed by his angles and all of that. Someone that can take away those angles, and he wasn't able to, punch on the angle against Lopez, and he looked very ordinary. He just looked like a normal fight. He didn't look anything special, and I believe that he'll lose a lot more, Lomachenko, in his career. He'll probably beat a lot of fighters, but he'll lose as well to the top young hungry lions.
What I want to say is I want to make a point on this, because it's not the fact that a lot of boxing fans are calling Lomachenko a hype job. Lomachenko's not a hype job. He's a very, very, very good fighter. His amateur career shows that. His professional career shows that. He's a 3-weight world champion. Where he's a hype job and where he's overrated is the fact that, we've been sold a story. We've been sold a story that Lomachenko was the best fighter since Ali. We've been sold a story that Lomachenko is better than Floyd Mayweather, better than Manny Pacquiao. That's where he's overrated, and that's where he's a hype job. It's not the fact that he's a hype job. When you put certain standards on fighters and call him he's better than Mayweather, he's better than Pacquiao, then we expect performances. We expect you to be as good as those guys. We expect you to give us performances like those guys. Manny Pacquiao does not lose to Teofimo Lopez. Floyd Mayweather does not lose to Teofimo Lopez. So when you big up a fighter like Bob Arum was bigging up Lomachenko, best fighter since Ali, and all that sort of nonsense and all this all about his angles and all of that, that's where he's a hype job. That's where he's overrated, because you're trying to say he's better than Mayweather, he's better than Pacquiao. That's what his promoter was saying. But as we saw, he's not quite at that level. He's a good fighter. He's one of the modern. He's a great fighter in this modern era for sure. But when you start comparing him to Mayweather, you start comparing him to Pacquiao. I've got a problem with that, and that's why boxing.
To be honest, if I'm going to be really honest, he lost to a 22-year-old novice. I'm sorry, but he's not what we. He's not what we.
Don't get me wrong. That 23-year-old is an exceptional fighter.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, but he's not. You got to realize this was his first real test, man. Come on, who has he fought that?
Kami.
Yeah, but apart from that.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. Like, this is not Kami against Lomachenko. Who wins that fight? Come on. Let's please. This is his second competitive fight, and he beat Lomachenko. He's his second competitive fight. There's a lot of fighters out there in the lightweight division that have probably had more tests, right? And this is his second competitive fight, and he's beaten Lomachenko. Come on, man. How good is Lomachenko, man? Let's be honest. He's a good fighter, but he's not extraordinary. I'm sorry, he's not.
Salman, I think the problem is we admit that Lomachenko is an exceptional fighter. He's a good fighter, But
he's a good fighter, but he's not an exceptional, extraordinary
he's
fighter.
he's not on Mayweather and Pacquiao's level.
Yeah, but I didn't ever think he was on Mayweather or Pacquiao's level. To be on Mayweather and Pacquiao's level, first you got to prove it by fighting 20, 30, top fighters, and not the 10, 15 top fighters in a row and beating those guys. He's not done anything like that. He lost to Teofimo Lopez, a 23-year-old. This is the guy's second competitive fight, man, in his career, and you've lost to him. What does that go to show, What does that go to show? It goes to show that, and don't get me wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I guarantee you Lopez will lose quite a few times in his career as well. He's a good fighter, but he's not extraordinary. What people go on like, oh, he's going to be, this next, like, he's not the next Mayweather, trust me. He's not.
Yeah, no. I think, like I said to people, I'm gonna do a breakdown of, I'm gonna do another.
Guys
video.
fought his second competitive fight.
But for me, Vasily Lomachenko was overrated in the sense that you had all these analysts and all these guys working for ESPN like Max Kellerman, not just Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman says it how it is. I like Max Kellerman; he's a very good analyst. But Teddy Atlas bigging up, Lomachenko, like this guy's the best thing since sliced bread. Like we haven't seen anything like him. His angles and this that. Where was his angles against Lopez? Where was his angles? Where was his movement? Where was it? Where was all of that? And I just feel listen, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter of this modern era for sure. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. I'll give you that. But when you start comparing him and start saying he's the best fighter since Ali, he's better than Mayweather.
No, he's not the best pound for pound fighter after yesterday. Come on,
he's
nowhere near better than Canelo, man.
No, he's not.
Better than
I never
Canelo.
ever thought that. I never ever thought he was better than Canelo. I never ever thought he was better than Canelo. I
think there's a lot more better fighters than Lomachenko.
But I just feel like but this is what I'm trying to say when I say he's overrated in the sense that he was being made out to be like
he's not better than Terence Crawford.
And to be honest, he looked ordinary. And to be fair, I told you against Campbell, you didn't believe me. You said, "Oh, he didn't look great against Campbell." Campbell showed him up. He didn't look great against Campbell.
No, he didn't.
He didn't look great against
Campbell.
Campbell.
Won the fight, but
let me tell you something. This modern era is a lot soft. Is a lot softer than what it was 10 years ago. When I look at some of the divisions and I look at what it was like 10 years ago, I tell you there was a lot better fighters 10 years ago than there is now. This current era is very soft. Listen, Lopez is a great fighter, very good fighter, and I think he's going to go on to have a great career. But at the end of the day, I think Salman's right here. I don't look at Lopez and think, oh my God, this guy's on another level. He's a great fighter. But again, I think we need to pump the brakes. They're of a certain level. When people start comparing him to Mayweather Pacquiao, you've got to understand there's a difference between being a pound for pound fighter and being one of the greatest ever. Pacquiao and Mayweather are one of the greatest ever. These guys are a level below that. Teofimo still got a lot to prove, but Lomachenko definitely, he's had a great amateur career, but his professional career does not match to Mayweather and Pacquiao. They are on another level. That's why they are considered the greatest fighters.
You got to realize you can't start comparing someone to, like, for example, Teofimo. That was his second competitive fight, man. You can't You can't start until he's fought like 8, 9 straight killers, in a row. Then you can say, all right, then you can start kind of comparing. Even then, it's probably still premature.
But it's not about comparing him. The guy can fight. He's a good fighter. What I'm trying to say, this video is about Lomachenko. This is about the fact that Lomachenko's a great fighter. There's no doubt about it. What the problem is that you're putting him on a pedestal that he doesn't belong. You're saying he's the best fighter since Ali. You're saying that he's better than Mayweather Pacquiao. Here's the thing. Lomachenko said, I don't want to fight Pacquiao because Pacquiao's a has-been. He's finished.
Yeah, but that's silly though, isn't it? That's silly because he'll get battered by Pacquiao. Pacquiao will destroy him, man. He's not good enough to beat Pacquiao. Pacquiao's a class fighter. He's not going to beat Pacquiao. He's not on that level. He got beat by Teofimo Lopez, man. And Teofimo Lopez is a kid. A kid beat you. That is disgraceful. A 23-year-old kid beat you.
I wouldn't say disgraceful. Listen.
A lot of people were saying that, this will be like, Mayweather Canelo.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they were
saying
that.
No, but do you know, in terms of for Lomachenko, it's disgraceful that a 23-year-old kid has beaten you. Trust me, he must feel disgraced. I'd feel it if I was at Lomachenko's level and a 22-year-old, 23-year-old beat me. That's his second competitive fight. Fair enough if Rigondeaux beat him. That's different. That guy's he's classed as a legend as well. Lopez, this guy was just a guy upcoming and he's beating you. That's crazy, man. He must be well shocked and like he must be completely, his ego must have gone from like there to literally down bottom, man, because losing to a 23-year-old, that's his second competitive fight and you've lost. I don't care if you had a 14-month layoff, that's your responsibility to, don't get me wrong, I think Lomachenko could get him in the rematch, but he's lost now, the first time he's lost, and I think he's got a lot of weaknesses as well, Lomachenko, when someone puts it on him.
Here's the thing. Do you buy that? Do you buy it when someone says that Lomachenko wasn't throwing punches because he was trying to download information? Do you just think that Lopez had too much power and he was scared?
I personally think that, probably a bit of both. He was trying to download information. He was trying to be a bit cautious because, he got dropped by Jorge Linares. And, that always plays a.
But do you think Lopez was a lot more powerful than he had been in the ring with where he
probably,
felt?
Yeah, probably. Probably in terms of one punch power, probably. He was probably scared that same punch that hit Comey doesn't hit me. He probably thinking, he stepped it up, but he had to step it up because,
Otherwise it would have been a shot.
Yeah, then it was a shot without that. But I don't know. I just think he looked very. Even Timothy Bradley said he looked very ordinary yesterday. He didn't look anything. He didn't look like Lomachenko.
He looked average. I'll be honest with you.
Don't get me wrong, it wasn't that wide. There was like 7'5". Come on, let's be realistic.
Yeah, but he looked average. He didn't look special. He didn't look. Can you imagine? Like every time I saw, Pacquiao Mayweather fight, they always look special. The only time Pacquiao looked average to me is when he fought Mayweather, and Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. So there's no shame.
It's different though,
but Teofimo's an up and coming kid, and he made him look quite ordinary.
Yeah, he lost to a kid, man.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, Lomachenko's a great fighter, but I'll finish off on this. He's a great fighter, but the way people have hyped him up, saying he's the best fighter since Ali, he's better than Mayweather Pacquiao, he would have beat Mayweather Pacquiao. That's where boxing fans are calling him a hype job, because you put him at a level where he didn't belong. He's a great fighter. Like I said, he's a great fighter of the modern era. But he isn't on those guys' level. Simple as that. Simple as that. He's not on those guys' level. He's not on those guys' level. Do you want to finish off on what do you think happens now with Lomachenko?
Probably get a rematch. We don't know what will happen. If he loses the rematch, his career's on a knife edge. I think he should retire, because what else is he going to do? Where else is he going to go? Because who's he going to fight?
They were talking about potentially him moving up to 140 and fighting the winner of Taylor Ramirez for the undisputed 140-pound title. But I think that's completely...
he's lost though. He lost.
No. But if he was to get a rematch, do you think he has any business at 140 against Taylor or Ramirez? Or do you think those guys are just too big?
It might be, that might be bad for him. He might lose that as well, because we've seen that he's not that.
And those guys are fairly good fighters.
Yeah, they're fairly good. So it'd be a risk. But the problem is he's going to have to do something, right? Either, personally, I think he should move down to 130.
If Salman, if he was to fight Manny Pacquiao at 140, what happens in that fight?
Manny Pacquiao will beat him. Anyway, Manny Pacquiao just better than the guy, man. Manny Pacquiao would kill him. Manny Pacquiao would knock him out. What
about Floyd Mayweather? I want to know your opinion.
Floyd Mayweather would beat him as well, easily.
By stoppage or by points?
Probably stop him. That guy's he's not better than Floyd Mayweather, man. Floyd Mayweather would have beaten him pretty comfortably. Even Lomachenko admits it himself, man, in an interview, that I wouldn't have beaten Floyd Mayweather. He knows that he wouldn't beat Floyd.
So do you think Floyd Mayweather would have outclassed him and then stopped him, and Manny Pacquiao would have just destroyed him?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
What, would you expect, a Ricky Hatton type of knockout, or?
I don't know how he would knock him out, but just depends, man. I know for sure that he wouldn't. I know he's not better than. He's definitely not better than Floyd Mayweather. Like, it's just.
Or Pacquiao.
No, he's not. He's not better than those guys. He's not better than a lot of guys. He's not better than Terence Crawford. He's not. Now, probably people will believe what I say now. Terence Crawford. How can Lomachenko be ahead of Terence Crawford? Terence Crawford's never lost. Never lost. He's fought good names now. He's fighting Brook now. He's probably going to wipe the floor with him as well.
Here's the thing, guys. I want to end it on this. Great fighter, just not on Mayweather or Pacquiao's level. That's just my opinion. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.